Betrayal, rage, and murder. The shocking tale of a woman who killed her husband over an extramarital affair in Lucknow, a marriage on the edge. Lucknow, a city known for its rich culture and Nawabi heritage, recently became the backdrop for a chilling crime of passion that has sent shockwaves through the community. A woman, driven by rage and betrayal, brutally murdered her husband after discovering his illicit relationship with another woman. The couple, identified as Anil Sharma, 38, and Priya Sharma, 35, names changed for privacy, had been married for over a decade and lived in a modest apartment in Gomti Nagar. To the outside world, they seemed like an ordinary middle-class couple. Anil worked as a sales manager for a private firm, while Priya was a homemaker who devoted herself to their two children. However, beneath the surface, their relationship had been deteriorating for months. A wife's suspicion. Priya had long suspected Anil of having an extramarital affair. He had become distant, often returning home late with flimsy excuses about work. His phone, once accessible to her, was now always locked. He would frequently smile at messages and take mysterious late-night calls in hushed tones. Her suspicions were confirmed when she stumbled upon a series of intimate messages between Anil and a woman named Megha, a young colleague from his office. The texts were affectionate, filled with promises of a future together. Priya's world shattered in that moment. Confrontation turns ugly. That evening, when Anil returned home, Priya confronted him. She threw his phone at him and demanded an explanation. Instead of guilt or remorse, Anil reacted with anger. "Yes, I love Megha, and what can you do about it?" he snapped. His words acted like fuel to the fire of betrayal burning inside Priya. She screamed, threw objects at him, and in a fit of rage, accused him of ruining their marriage. But Anil, instead of pacifying the situation, callously declared that he wanted a divorce. The argument escalated into a heated fight. Their children, terrified, hid in another room as their parents' voices echoed through the house. Anil, frustrated, slapped Priya. That was the final straw. The fatal night. Later that night, Priya sat alone in the kitchen, her mind spinning with emotions, anger, pain, and an overwhelming sense of vengeance. She couldn't bear the thought of losing her husband to another woman after sacrificing years for their marriage. In that moment, she made a chilling decision. When Anil fell asleep, Priya entered the bedroom with a kitchen knife. Without hesitation, she plunged the blade into his chest. The first strike woke him up, his eyes wide with shock. He gasped, struggled, but Priya, fueled by uncontrollable fury, stabbed him repeatedly until his body went limp. Blood soaked the bed, the walls, her hands. For a few moments, silence filled the room except for Priya's heavy breathing. Reality began to sink in. She had killed her husband. Panic took over. What had she done? Where would she go? What would happen to her children? In a state of shock, she wiped the knife and changed her blood-stained clothes. She tried to compose herself, convincing herself that it was an act of justice. He had betrayed her, and she had punished him. The crime unfolds. The next morning, neighbors grew suspicious when Anil didn't leave for work. The children, too scared to speak, wandered outside, confused. When Priya failed to answer the door, a worried neighbor called the police. Upon arrival, officers found Priya sitting beside Anil's lifeless body, staring blankly at the floor. Blood covered the room, and the murder weapon lay nearby. When questioned, she calmly confessed, saying, "He betrayed me. He deserved this." Legal proceedings and the shocking confession. Priya was immediately taken into custody, while the children were placed in the care of their relatives. During police interrogations, she showed no regret, only repeating that she had been wronged. "I loved him, and he destroyed my trust. How could I let him walk away so easily?" Psychologists analyzing her case suggest that the act was driven by extreme emotional distress, a breakdown caused by months of mental agony. The murder, while gruesome, was not premeditated in the traditional sense. It was a spontaneous act of revenge, fueled by betrayal. Public reaction. The case has divided public opinion. Some sympathize with Priya, believing that emotional torment can push a person to the edge. Others condemn her, arguing that no betrayal justifies murder. Debates about domestic issues, infidelity, and emotional abuse have ignited on social media. Many legal experts believe that Priya's crime, while motivated by extreme emotional turmoil, will not exempt her from punishment. She faces charges under Section 302, murder, of the Indian Penal Code, which could lead to life imprisonment or the death penalty, depending on the court's verdict.